Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press. Today I am happy to be catching up with Christopher Larkin. Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Never been better.
I can tell you're super stoked and excited.
I am, because this is our second year in a row, so I'm proud of that. And last year we were in a garage that I was living in, so I'm very happy to not be in that garage. We're actually in Bob's old apartment from 3 years ago, so it's now my apartment, and there are a lot of memories in here. It's pretty cool.
Pretty nostalgic, I guess. Like you were mentioning earlier, there are photos of you and Bob on this exact sofa.
Yeah, it was, I forget what the post was. It was like season 2, and we were shooting while we were airing. I forget, yeah, I think we were shooting season 2 while season 2 was premiering. It's when we were still in the fall. And there's a photo of me sitting right where you are. It's called like Thoughtful Monty watching Thoughtful Monty. It's from 3 years ago. Don't look it up.
So definitely look that up. Well, you have a lot to talk about. Let's start with music. Carry Hatchet's newest album, The Happiest Album Ever Made, was released in November. Now, this one was a bit of a different process. I know you worked with a producer-engineer on this one, unlike the first one you self-produced on GarageBand. So what was that creative process like for you?
Really different. And I was grateful to have a collaborator throughout the whole process, because normally it's really solitary for me. And I think that's good in the writing portion of it because I don't do well with distractions. Like when I'm writing, I need to be completely alone. But then you throw in like mixing and mastering and recording, and I can get really overwhelmed because you're faced with hundreds of decisions all the time. So to have somebody around who you trust and admire as a musician and as a producer was huge. And yeah, it felt like a dual effort. It feels as much, his album as it is mine.
It's great to, like you mentioned, have a collaborator that kind of gets you and gets what your vision is and they kind of work together on that.
His name's Alex Foote, by the way. I should stop talking about him as this like
Him,
otherworldly, yeah, godlike figure, which he is to me, but his name's Alex Foote.
Fantastic. So, you did the lyrics on the album. Where did the major themes come from for those?
I'm only pausing because I don't have like a stock answer. Like I don't, it's not a conscious process for me. Like I never set out being like, okay, I need this song to be about blank, or I need the album to be about this. I feel like it's a really inorganic way to approach any kind of creative process, and so it always starts with music, and then a melody emerges, and I play those hundreds of times until the words come. And I feel like whatever's inside that needs to be said will come out naturally if you just let it. Clearly I was in a pretty dark period in my life, and so were a lot of my friends and family, so I was just trying to harness that energy, and this is what needed to be said.
I guess, like you mentioned, it kind of flows out when you need it to, and it's great to kind of have a release in that sense. Yeah. Now, the album is available on Bandcamp, name your own price format. What inspired you to take this route when putting it out into the world?
I just wanted the album to be as accessible to as many people as possible. And I feel like Name Your Price is really inviting because it's essentially saying, do you want to pay for the album? Okay, that's fine. Okay, you don't want to pay a single cent for it or you don't have it? Then that's also fine. And I never wanted money to be an obstacle for people owning it. Because it wasn't that long ago that I couldn't afford to buy music at will because I was younger and I didn't have a credit card or a bank account. And then as I got older, I had a debit card and a bank account, but there was nothing in it. So I never wanted there to be this kind of like financial wall between who owns it and who doesn't. I wanted it to be equal. And at the end of the day, I think it's going to pay off more financially and artistically. For me, it's a passion project. Like I'm never going to make money off this music. So when you throw the salesmanship and the business outside of it, you can just focus on what it is, which is sharing it with as many people as you can.
Yeah, that's a really actually great approach to take. You were mentioning like having that barrier and the kind of removing it, and like you said, it's the music that you want to put out there, and just getting it out there is important for you.
Yeah, not everyone has $10 to throw around all the time, so yeah, I think it just like I probably haven't bought hundreds of albums because I see the list price. I'm like, nah, I'll just Spotify it But I want people to have it as like a traveling companion. Like I love nothing more than like walking around a city or when I'm flying to have like the companionship of a lot of people. So I'm hoping that people can like take it with them.
Let's talk about The 100, Season 5, set to have a mid-season premiere. Hasn't been announced quite yet, but Monty spent 6 years up in space. What can you share about, what's to come for Monty and these characters in the season? And, aside from what's already been spoiled, which is, of course, Monty's new haircut.
There it is. I feel bad, like, with these questions because, like, no one can ever answer them fully. It's always, like, skirting around and some bullshit answer that no one's happy with. But yes, I can mention those photos. Like, we had photos leaked on day one. And so, yeah, the hair has I think Jason's been wanting to change this hair for the last... Like, at the start of every season, he's like, dude, you need to change it. And it always survived. But this year, he was like, no, this needs to go right now. So here it is. But I will say, Monty is wearing an apron in one of the photos that says, make algae, not war. And I think that that's indicative of where his head has been at and maybe what he's been up to the last 6 years.
So he is not a chef.
Is he not a chef? I don't know. And if he is a chef, then he's working obviously with very limited materials. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he did up there.
And late in season 4, Monty had an emotional farewell with Jasper. You've spoken fondly of your time working with Devon, your scene partner for much of the earlier years, and of course, one half of the musical duo Crit and Devon. Speak a bit about your friendship outside of the show. Do you miss having him around on set?
Yeah, of course. And Devon and I have done an okay job of like keeping in touch and seeing each other when we can. I'd say I miss him off set more than anything else, because on set, I think all the characters have lost someone that they've loved and cared about deeply. And so, television, it just works so quickly. And you show up and you put your head down and you go to work. And I think both for like Monty and myself, you have to try to move on and try to find things that make you happy on set, because if you dwell too much in the past, it can really drag you down. So yeah, but offset, like I live a very hermetic existence. Like I don't leave very often, so Devon forced me to like see Vancouver and see people that I normally wouldn't. So that's what I miss more than anything.
It's nice to have, a friend that you can kind of carry that relationship from starting on the show and off the show as well. You and your girlfriend, Carla, have a play that is getting a production in Pittsburgh this spring. Tell me about Nomads Motel.
I'm proud of this play because it's so hard fought for and finally so hard won. Like, we've been working on this for 4 or 5 years. There's been 10 workshops in New York and Connecticut and Texas and Pennsylvania and like 4 in LA, and no one would, like, they'd workshop it and do readings and then never pick it up. Like, no one would take a chance on it. And so to finally like have someone say, yes, we will support the project and put it on its feet and you can share it with a wider audience is exciting. And this is how far back it goes. Speaking of season 2, the first workshop I remember because the next day I flew up to shoot episode 205, which is where Jasper gives Maya a blood transfusion in Mount Weather, and there's a Monty gif that went around for a while where he's like, I don't know if you know, I can't do it that well now, but he does like this, and I kept like showing up everywhere I went. So yeah, it was that scene. So if you look at episode 205 to now deep into season 5, a lot's happened between now and then, and I think it's about damn time that we get to give it a shot.
Well, we're really excited for you and Carla. You said that you love creating theater together, which is so sweet. Really excited to hear the responses that it'll get this spring.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't tank, because then listen, and it might, but I guess at the end of the day, who cares? At least we get to try. It may tank. Everything we do may tank. So, and probably will, because you fail much more often than you succeed. But hopefully people like it.
And it's, like you mentioned, it's the experience that you had creating this together, seeing it, go into production.
Physically we've already done it. Like, it's so well developed now with the same team that when we get together, it's almost like we just pick up
final run,
right where we left off. Yeah.
And hopefully many more to come after that. You guys are always working on this.
We try. I mean, I'm playing a teenager again, but I'm getting older. Like, when I started the 100, I was 25. I'm now 30. So I'm hoping that the teenage phase actually starts to die down. And where will I fit in her work? Because I've always played like a teenager. So I'm curious, like, what phase that's
You're going to age a little bit.
That's going to be, yeah, and how I am going to age. We'll see.
Well, we're excited for you both nonetheless. Now, you've been doing more conventions as of late. What's your favorite part about coming out to these, meeting the fans?
Well, favorite part for me is probably, hopefully, the same part, for the fans as well. It's breaking the fourth wall, finally, because we've all been living with these characters for 4 or 5 years, and then all of a sudden, like, it's not through a screen. The relationship is not like one-sided anymore. It's like you're staring face to face with people who feel like a real connection to this world and these people. So that's always a trip. I think it's overwhelming for both sides. For them, like, it's bridging the gap between, like, okay, I know who Bellamy is, but I have no idea who Bob Morley is. So, like, am I talking to the actor, the character? Am I talking to the actor? So it's bridging that, and then for us, we're meeting, hundreds of people at a time, which is exhausting, but I think totally worth it at the end of the day. That's what keeps me coming back, is, being able to say thank you to someone in person and not over social media.
And you'll be back at Unity Days, of course, in Vancouver. It films here out in BC, so what are you most looking forward to about returning to this one?
I like Unity Days because it's small. It's like the smallest con I've ever been to. I know you guys do a lot of cons too, so yeah, compared to Comic-Con's a zoo. It's my least favorite con. But Unity Days is intimate and personal, and it's exactly the antithesis of Comic-Con. You get to sit down with people and actually have, like, time. You could take 30 minutes and just talk life and about the show and get to know them as well. It's not just their questions at you. So I like the dialogue.
Fantastic. This or that? Cats or dogs?
Neither. I'm not an animal person. I mean, I grew up with dogs, but I feel like the constant need for attention would drive me nuts. And they don't like Louis C.K. says, they don't evolve ever. They like people, they just stay dumb and needing you. But I think I'm more like a cat. Like if I had a spirit animal, it would be a cat. I'm just like, leave me alone, please. And
all the time.
Independent woman, let's do it. So let's take cats.
Got it, cats. Late nights or early mornings?
Late nights? You kidding me? Who wants an early? The only reason no one likes an early morning. It's just conditioned from
routine people go and like exercise in the morning.
It's like 9 to 5. You're just conditioned to like, or you have to adjust to that schedule. Or if you have like little kids and babies, no one likes early mornings, though. Let's be real.
Chocolate or candy?
Candy. I'm like sour fruit candy is my go-to. I'm actually not a huge fan of any kind of chocolate.
And movies or television?
Ooh. Oh, that's great. Let's say television first, because it's been my home for the last 5 years. I haven't done a film in a very long time, so. And also, I think as a medium, it's the most diverse. It's progressing the most. It's the golden age of television. Films are going. I mean, what is it? It's all like franchise superhero movies. How many Captain Americas and Guardians of the whatever can you make?
Apparently a lot.
And people will pay to see it. But that's really like whenever I look at this, outside of like an independent cinema, I mean, it's all just not all trash. There's some great. I just saw 3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. That was wonderful. I think the Florida Project is great. There are gems that pop through, but a lot of it's commercial, and there's a lot of bad TV too. But I think television is up a notch in my book.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you so much for taking the time to catch up and chat with us.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for 2 years in a row. Maybe we can do it again next year.
Yes, hopefully. Carry Hatchet's new album, The Happiest Album Ever Made, is out on Bandcamp. Check it out and catch Christopher in Season 5 of The 100 on the CW.